What is going on, guys? This is Dealer here, back again talking about Xbox Arcturus. Yes, the newest leak straight out of Reddit and possibly somewhere else. As my buddy D-Bash talked about earlier today, this is pretty interesting for a few different reasons. However, you'd be silly to assume that I am saying this is real or not. We just don't know. And at the end of the day, I cover everything related to this topic. A lot of people come to me for this. I've gotten several DMs about it already. So of course, I'm gonna do my thing. Feel free to join in on the discussion down below. Enjoy the fantastic, marvelous 1080p Forza 7 footage. Yes, 1080p, YouTube, 4K's broken. 4K's, I give up. So yeah, let's get moving. Let's get into some of the details. So this is said to be what is an Xbox 2 or Xbox Scarlett development kit leak. Keep this in mind. Development kits often feature much higher amounts of RAM, cache, etc. than their production console counterparts. The Xbox One X, for instance, had a 1TB SSD in it and 24GB of GDDR5. Whereas the production model had a 1TB 5400 RPM drive that was customized for higher speeds and only 12GB of GDDR5. There was also a slight difference in the GPU, almost half a teraflop more on the dev kit. Little things here and there, and I will also remind everybody to take all of this with a grain of salt. So if you are looking at something like this, you are wondering, what is the big deal here? Well, largely on the CPU side at least, one of the more notable things is a massive amount of cache on this thing, meaning ultra low latency response, at least with things that are stored in that 1GB cache. That's a massive cache. Once more, I urge you to take this with a grain of salt. Processor name, bunch of numbers, no one cares. It says here max clock speed 3.3 gigahertz. Now, that's pretty interesting and far from the almost 4 that many people were saying this thing would have. I, on the other hand, was saying, of course, this thing will not have a high 3 or 4 gigahertz frequency. It is a console. Everything about this thing is designed to get the most performance for your dollar, and cooling is a big part of that. If you are clocking these chips up near the 4 gigahertz range in a console that's likely to have around a 250 to 300 watt power supply, at least on the high end, you just do not have that luxury of clocking these things up that high. These are largely low power parts, and they work great for something like a console. Level 3 and level 4 cache, blah blah blah. Of course, this thing's got a lot of cache. That's kind of the big thing about it. Logical processors, so this means it's an 8-core CPU, but it also says here, at least in this screenshot at the time this was taken, that SMT mode is disabled, meaning hyper-threading, aka multi-threading. Two different things on the AMD and Intel side, same thing at the end of the day, is disabled, meaning if they did enable this, it would be in line with the 8-core 16-thread things we have talked about in the past, which would be absolutely insane for a console. Now, the really interesting thing is at the bottom of this. Now, it says processor name, and this is on the GPU end, GPU 0 as a matter of fact. Arcturus12, this is the architecture after Navi, and we know that because AMD have their very available and very public roadmap, which also means that this could be very fake and very not real. It's easier to fake things like this due to AMD's openness with their roadmaps, which, you know, it's just a byproduct you cannot avoid. It says here that the Arcturus-based GPU is going to be clocked at 1400 megahertz, which I suppose some may say seems low, but you got to remember that this is a low power part for a console. It is an APU, as a matter of fact, designed to run on no more than 300 watts. This is not a desktop class CPU or GPU. This whole box is designed to run as cool and efficiently as possible while giving you the best performance possible. Now, we know that the Xbox One X's GPU runs at 1172 megahertz. It also features a 245 watt power supply. This is definitely a different architecture. These different architectures are hard to compare. They have different rules, power consumption, features, etc. The last thing worth covering on this spec sheet is the memory. It says 22 gigabytes, and this is actually a red flag. Keep in mind that we are assuming that this would be some kind of dev kit. Now, if this is in fact true, this to me tells me that this would belong to the low-end Lockhart Xbox. As you probably know, the Xbox One X had 12 gigabytes of GDDR5 at launch, as I mentioned before, with 24 gigabytes of that same memory in the dev kit, largely usually dev kits have around double the memory of their production counterpart. And this is due to developer requirements. They need the overhead to scale things down and work easily on the system. That's also why there is a 1TB SSD in the Xbox One X dev kit. As you know, 22 is less than 24. As you also know, if you're watching the channel, Xbox Lockhart, the low-end Xbox, slated to hit at around $300, is said to have 12 gigabytes of GDDR6. As you've also probably figured out, 12 plus 12 is not 22, but it is definitely much closer to the amount of memory that I think an Xbox Lockhart dev kit would have over something like the Xbox Anaconda. This is why I have prefaced everything with the fact that dev kits usually have double the RAM of their production counterparts. The X had 24, the Anaconda will likely have more. But hey, at the end of the day, these could be numbers allocated to different performance profiles in the Xbox Danta dev kit. Developers loved the Xbox One X dev kit for its amazing features. For instance, with Xbox One X's dev kit, you actually had the Xbox One and Xbox One S dev kit built into it through different performance profiles. Yes, this means developers could literally hit a button and tune for each system. To my knowledge, they are doing this again. And for that entire dev kit to only have 22 gigabytes of RAM, that would be very interesting considering its predecessor had more. But quite frankly, you just never know. They could have figured out some things on the software side, saved some money on dev kit production, or this could just be a screenshot of a performance profile within the dev kit, meaning the developer hit the button for perhaps the Lockhart spec on the dev kit. Those are the resources available to it. Or it could just be that of the Anaconda, or it could just be, like I said, not real at all. Once more, take all of this with a grain of salt. But let me know what you guys think down below. I thought it was pretty interesting. Figured I'd bring it to you. The source, as always, is linked down below. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the discussion. I got a lot of hypothesis and random crap that I'm thinking in these videos. Let me know if you agree, disagree. It's all good. And like I said, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. It really helps more than you know. Share this with a buddy or two. That really helps. And of course, if you are new into this tech stuff, want to know more about these systems coming up and everything gamer related in regards to these consoles, subscribe for more stuff. Check out the links down below. Got some stuff for you to click down there. I'm Dealer. I'm out.